It looks great. Just throw some sand in it and it'll be fine. It's fine. Just stomp on it. Let's stomp on it, but don't break that pipe we just fixed. It'll be fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna fill it in.
Just throw some sand on it. Just dance. Do the dance. It'll work. It'll work. Start watering it.
Yeah.
No one will ever know. They'll never know. So I'm over at my neighbor Danny's house right now. We just finally, truly completed the install of an Irrigreen system over here. Now, I say that because we started this project a little over a week ago and actually had everything in, functioning, and programmed within about 4 hours. It really didn't take very long. This was adapting to an already existing system. The head that I have up here and the one that's back down behind me here are on the same line, and we almost lucked out and got the one out front on the same line, but I missed it and that was my fault. Now, the reason it's 10 days later is we had a couple little leaks in the old system, which here Danny is struggling to work on right now to put the grass back together. In an area that we didn't touch, there was a leak down below from this old system. So in putting all this new stuff in and keeping the pipes pressurized in order to work the way that they're supposed to, it showed more problems, which can be one of the reasons why there were some high, very high water bills over here, because this system that was in was completely inefficient. So right now we're witnessing a homeowner turn on his sprinkler system from his phone. Let's see what he does next. Here he is attempting to patch grass. Let's see if he can find the right pieces. Let's just throw that one in there. Maybe this waste. Yes, this is an ugly piece.
Water conservation was the big one. Our water bill kept creeping up. Part of it we found out was because we had leaks all over. So having 3 heads to deal with instead of, what, 50? Yeah. Is much easier to manage. Understanding as we had dead spots every year, so water was being inefficient as far as where it was hitting. Now we can control exactly where it's going to touch, and this grass was dead 2 weeks ago, and it already looked great. So yeah, we had multiple dead spots, which was frustrating every year because for somebody who doesn't understand this stuff very well, I didn't know how to fix it. And every year I didn't want to try to figure out how to, or call you up every year, figure out what to do with what heads and how to tweak it and which ones should I get and all the systems. And we've had for years, since we moved in 8 years ago, we've had water bills, which you have never gone above the minimum. Yeah. And we've had water bills in the 400 to 500 range and couldn't figure out why, because we weren't overwatering, we weren't watering more than anybody else was, and turns out we had leaks all over the place. So yeah, definitely an issue. Yes, very good. And I know it's going to save me money in the long run just from water bills.
So I want to make a point on this. This is another just adaptation to an old system. It's the same thing I did on mine. I had a pre-existing system and I just decided to run it like it was a new install. But typically what you would do is run a fresh main line, say from this head to the next, over to where your water source is, and put everything in that way. Well, if you've already got water and you've already got the right pressure and all of the specifications match to putting in that system, then there really isn't a huge reason to go through that if you already have an existing one. So we ran a line from this corner. We knew there was a head over here on this side. We ran a line straight out here to the middle of the yard, and the Irrigreens sit in the middle. That's how these work. You don't put them on the edges because they water in a 360. And every single time they do a rotation, they're programmed to put out 0.05 inches of water every single time. So if we do 10 rotations in whatever time that is, which should take a little while, 45 minutes probably, that's gonna put down a ½ an inch of water when it runs through its cycles. Now, each head is its own zone. You're doing away with those, but I wanna show you what we did in the sprinkler box, the old 20 or 30-year-old sprinkler box, so that we have constant pressure to these and how that works. But the adaptation is really super simple. You're finding where things need to go, you're identifying the station, and then you're leaving that valve open all the time so that these can run when the program dictates. All right, so this is the old sprinkler box, and I'll show you a better view of it here in a second. But the two stations that we're running off right now are here and here, okay? And this is just clicked on all the time. This one is on all the time as well. So there's constant pressure to the heads no matter what. So we don't have to go through and cut these diaphragms out or do anything like I did on my other one. These are better, actually. They don't really leak, so that's nice. When we set these up, tons of pressure and good to go. Now, his old system is technically still in place, so he could turn on, turn off valves if he wanted to. He could run drip system if he wanted to. If he needed anything else, it's still all here if it was necessary, but it's not. Everything is getting covered, and like I said, doing this way is so freaking simple because it's just a couple of parts. Check that out. That's the sprinkler box's wood. Look at this, all those valves in there. And like a nice wooden cap for it. So this thing was running on, well, however many stations that is, 12. And just out front here in this whole front lawn area, I wanna say there was something like 20 or 22 sprinkler heads just out here. It might even be a couple more. Crazy amount. Now, we didn't have to cap a whole lot of heads. We only had to do it a couple of times just on the areas where if we intercepted a pipe to give our main water line, we had to pull some, right? So we had to find some heads that were gonna run nonstop and just get those capped off. But again, we're talking pennies in parts to do that. You're still, let's say, I'll give you a calculus on this. Say the sprinkler system that we just put in, the controller, the heads, and then let's say that was like $2,000, I think he said. And then we're like maybe $100 in extra parts, and a lot of extra parts, things that we actually could return. I think we probably used $30 or $40 in extra parts and fittings and stuff like that to get this whole thing dialed in. But now, again, this lawn is getting completely rehabbed, and now that it's actually getting the water that it's supposed to, it's the heat of the summer and it's recovering so fast, it's unbelievable. And you can see Danny standing here with his full-size wheelbarrow. He is 9.5 feet tall. Look at him just hold that thing. It's like
very powerful.
Like a real man. Yeah. Look at that, that is awesome. Here comes the push. Nice.
It's very large.
Like I said, 9.5 feet tall. He's way taller than I am. Could you imagine sand leveling a whole yard with that massive wheelbarrow? Amazing. That's fine. Yeah, it's just catching the corners. It's coming right up. I know it's gonna get me wet. Here we go. Oh, look at that thing track right up into that corner. Whoa, look at that thing shoot. You're watering some lavender with it too. Holy cow, it's still going. Nice. There you have it. Look, if Tiny Wheelbarrow Man can do this, anybody can do it, I promise. It's something that can be simply done, and this is the sprinkler system that will pay for itself. Water savings alone is just going to end up making you money over time. It's hard to believe, I know when I say that, but it's very, very true. If you are paying for water and you're in an area out west, especially that water's at a premium, keep it on the lawn. That is the big thing here. Or the trees. Just not the sidewalk. Okay, bye.